From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Top of the morning, security gang. Welcome to the brand new studio and welcome to the CyberHub Podcast. It's a great morning, Monday, July 29th, 2024. I hope everyone's had a great, relaxing weekend. We're a week away from Hacker Summer Camp in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. This year, I'll be attending, not doing any special content outside of the show every single day. So come on by, say hello. I'll be around probably between Mandalay Bay and a few other engagements I have planned. If you're going to be at the Hacker Summer Camp, please, stop by, grab some swag. We'll be giving some stuff out there. So busy weekend. And we're into a packed Monday morning here. A lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get the show rolling. Without further ado, though, please make sure to subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, DM us stories if you want to hear more about it. We're always looking to bring y'all the latest stories as well. So if we miss anything, please bring it to our attention. We always appreciate it. Now, without further ado, join me for a tradition this morning, my double espresso. And now with the camera, y'all should be able to see that nice line of foam there. Coffee cup cheers, y'all. Brilliant. Let's go ahead and get started with threat actors observed exploiting two critical severity vulnerabilities in the ServiceNow platform less than 2 weeks after they were publicly disclosed. This report coming from Security. ServiceNow at the time announced patches for two security defects. Tracked the CVE 2024-4879er has a CVSS score of 9.3 and CVE 2024-5217. This CVSS score is 9.2. Both of those were reported on July 10th. The third bug was added that CVE 2024-5178 has a CVSS score of 6.9 and was also resolved in the platform. The critical issues are described as input validation flaws that could be exploited by an unauthenticated attacker for remote code execution in the context of ServiceNow's platform. The third bug is a file-ready security defect that could allow admins to access sensitive files on the web application servers without authorization. The patches and hotfixes for Utah, Vancouver, and Washington, D.C. iterations of the Now platform were released, urging customers to apply them as soon as possible. However, and we know this because I talk about this every time we talk about vulnerabilities. The moment there's a vulnerability that's critical, there's going to be an exploit. We know scans start within 22 minutes. We know active exploits are within 24 hours. So if you're not addressing it within that time frame, you're leaving yourself vulnerable. Now, in the interim, you can do mitigation. And so that mitigation could involve shutting down access, limiting access to a specific environment of ServiceNow, enacting stricter MFA. You can really put in some mitigations here, but nonetheless, right now there's 300,000 ServiceNow instances that are susceptible to threat actor probing, and now that there's an active exploit, those remain easy to target. And ServiceNow, as many people understand, is the heartbleed of many IT and development teams. So you want to make sure you get this patched as soon as possible. The CrowdStrike outage, the estimated cost that it's going to cost Fortune 500 companies is now estimated at $5.4 billion, according to Parametrics. Cyber insurance will likely only cover 10 to 20% of the losses based on large risk retentions and policy limits at many companies. CyberCube estimates the cyber insurance market will face a preliminary insured losses of anywhere between 400 million to 1.5 billion, potentially the single worst loss in cyber insurance sector in over 20 years. Parametrics expects the healthcare costs to see the biggest impact among industries, with 1.94 billion in losses after 3 quarters. Fortune 500 healthcare companies were impacted, though banking was also hard hit with an estimated 1.15 billion in direct losses. Airlines are also expected to have the highest per company cost. If you can imagine, airlines, Delta Airlines alone had to cancel probably close to 9 or 10,000 flights all in all. That's going to have some real significant impact there. This, by the way, the 5.4, it's Monday morning, y'all. Monday morning. I haven't had enough caffeine. The 5.4 billion figure doesn't include Microsoft. So there's something to be said there as well. Cyber insurance policies are going to most likely be triggered by this outage, according to several experts and practice leads. The question is going to be, though, you know, what's going to happen there, right? Once that's triggered, what's going to happen there? And that's going to be significant. Are cyber insurance companies going to pay up? Because it's an outage, it's not an attack, right? So your cyber insurance covers cyber incidents. This wasn't a cyber incident. This was an outage due to a cybersecurity vendor. So I think that those lines in the sand that are going to be drawn out. We'll see how this looks legally. But I'm not so confident, like many people are, that cyber insurance is actually going to pay this. Business interruption is one thing, but most everyone's going to try to hit CrowdStrike's business interruption because it was their business interruption that caused their business interruption. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, people are going to obviously go for this because they're trying to recover some of the losses, and they realize they're not going to get it all from CrowdStrike, but that's going to be interesting. CVE 2023-45249, or a CVSS score of 9 or 0.8, is a security defect that impacts the Acronis cyber infrastructure and allows threat actors to execute arbitrary code remotely due to the use of a default password. According to the company, the bug impacts ACI's releases before build 5.0.1-61 and builds 5.1.1-71, build 5.2.1-69er, and build 5.3.1-53, and build 5.4.4-132. Last year, Acronis patched the vulnerability with the release of ACI versions 5.4, update 4.2, 5.2, update 1.3, 5.3, update 1.3, 5.0, update 1.4, and 5.1, update 1.2. The vulnerability is known to have been exploited in the wild, according to an advisory released last week, urging customers to apply these patches as soon as possible. ACI is a multi-tenant, hyper-converged cyber protection platform that offers storage, compute, and virtualization capabilities to businesses and service providers. The solution is installed on bare metal servers to unite them in a single cluster for easy management, scaling, and redundancies. It's also really, really big in data centers. So there's that as well. South Korea, for their end, have recently disclosed a data breach involving the Korea Defense Intelligence Command, KDIC, a critical arm of the military's intelligence apparatus. The South Korea data breach reveals that a substantial amount of sensitive information, including personal data about agents stationed abroad, has been leaked, with reports indicating this data may have ended up in North Korea. The breach has sparked widespread concern regarding the security of the nation's intelligence operation and the safety of its personnel. According to the New York Times, South Korean officials are investigating the military breach and have yet to confirm the specifics. Reported by local media, the KDIC is renowned for its covert operations, focusing on gathering intelligence on North Korea, a country with aggression, known for its military aggression, nuclear threats, and constantly looking at its neighbor down south, going like, well, mess with y'all. The leaked information reportedly includes details about undercover agents who operate under disguise, like diplomats, across China and other regions of Asia. This could be a significant setback for them. These agents play a crucial role in monitoring North Korean activities and recruiting contacts, thus contributing significantly to the intelligence gathered by South Korea and its allies and giving them preparation, understanding the conflict. So there's that there. Again, like, so here's the deal. One, how do you have intelligence data sitting on the World Wide Web? How's that not somewhere in a cold storage, only accessed when needs to be accessed by who needs to access it? That's going to raise some questions over their handling of this. You can't treat Intel the same way you treat enterprise. You just can't. Maybe that this was the case here. Cryptocurrency Gemini is warning that they've experienced
there is a security breach,
and that data breach incident was caused by a cyber attack at an automated clearinghouse service provider whose name was not disclosed. The American Crypto Exchange began sending notices to impacted individuals a month ago. They submitted a sample letter yesterday to Attorney General's office in California. According to the notification, Gemini suffered a third-party data breach when an unauthorized actor breached its vendor systems between June 3rd and June 7th. The incident affects Gemini's customers' banking information, including full name, bank account number, routing number, which Gemini used for ACH fund transfers. The crypto exchange, no other information was revealed, like date of birth, physical address, social security number, email, phone number, username, or password were hosted, simply the ACH information. So there's that. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Nudge Security. And now here's a message from our friends at Nudge. Do you know who's experimenting with AI in your organization? Our friends over at Nudge Security have come up with a patented approach for SaaS discovery, giving you a full inventory of all apps ever introduced by anyone in your organizations, and all in minutes. This includes Gen AI applications. The best part is you don't even have to know what you're looking for. You simply do a quick one-time setup, so easy, no change management required, no browser plugins, no network proxies, no agent. Nudge Security is going to discover and categorize every SaaS and cloud account ever created by anyone in your organization. You can get a free 14-day trial today. You'll get a full list of all Gen AI apps and users. You'll get insights into their security posture, compliance certification, breach history, and more, so you can quickly vet new AI tools and guide users towards a secure alternative. Take control of Gen AI security risks today by going to nudgesecurity.com/cyberhub, nudgesecurity.com/cyberhub to start your free 14-day trial today. And thanks to Nudge for their support of the show. We'll continue here with Health Equity notifying 4.3 million individuals that their personal and health information was compromised in a data breach at a third-party vendor. The regulatory filing finally with the Maine Attorney General's office was identified on March 25th and required an extensive technical investigation. Through the work, the company was exposed. The attackers compromised the vendor's user account, had access to the online repository, gaining access to information stored there. They obviously gave you the whole nine of, we took immediate action, we blocked, we get it, you blocked and tackled. A little too late though. Depending on the individual, the impacted personal information and protected health information may include name, address, phone number, social security number, employee ID, employer dependent information, and payment card information. That payment card information one is significant, by the way. You want to make sure you get that updated, and if you're using, one of those healthcare MasterCards, you want to make sure you get that changed as well. Otherwise, what they'll do is they'll use those healthcare cards to rack up bills. They'll pay with it and then ask for a refund and get the money back separately. It's a pain, but a lot of fraud there as well. The remote access Trojan known as Ghost RAT has been observed being delivered by an evasive dropper called Ghost Gambit as part of a drive-by download scheme targeting Chinese-speaking Windows users. These infections stem from a fake website serving malicious installer package masquerading as Google Chrome browsers, indicating that users searching for the software on the web are being singled out. Ghost RAT is a long-standing malware. We've talked about it on the show here since our inception for 7 years. Some iteration of the Trojans have previously been deployed by infiltrating poorly secured SQL Server instances, using it as a conduit to install open-source rootkits and many, many others. The MSI installer downloaded from the phony website contains 2 files, a legitimate Chrome setup executable, and a malicious installer. All in all, that's another threat there. Salt Labs, the research arms of API security firm Salt Security, have discovered and published details of a cross-site scripting attack that could potentially impact millions of websites around the world. This isn't a product vulnerability that can be patched centrally. It's more implementation issue between web code and a massively popular app, OAuth, used for social logins. Most website developers believe that cross-site scripting Scrooge is a thing of the past, solved by a series of mitigations introduced over the years. However, Salt here says that that's not necessarily so. The basic problem is not unknown. New technology, new processes come into ecosystems. They don't always get deployed effectively. I can tell you, we did an installation back in my last role where we were doing identity. OAuth was a pain. It was seriously very, very exhausting. For the record, Salt's VP of Research, Yaniv Balmas, told Security Week that OAuth issues have also been found on websites including Booking.com, Grammarly, and OpenAI. It did not include those in the reporting. Those are just these are just the poor souls that fell under our microscope. But if they keep looking, they'll find it in other places. It's focusing on the Hotjar because of its market saturation, the amount of personal data it collects, and its low public recognition. It's similar to Google Analytics, or maybe an add-on to Google Analytics. It records a lot of user session data for visitors to websites that use it, which means that just about everybody will use Hotjar on sites, including Adobe, Microsoft, Panasonic, Columbia, Ryanair, Decathlon, T-Mobile, Nintendo, and many other major names. So in all fairness to Hotjar, they should know that the firm took just 3 days to fix the problem once Salt disclosed it to them. Hotjar followed current best practices for preventing cross-site scripting attacks that should have prevented typical attacks, but Hotjar also uses OAuth to allow social logins, and if the user chose to sign in with Google, Hotjar redirects to Google, and if Google recognizes the supposed users, it redirects back to Hotjar with a URL that contains a secret code that can be read. Essentially, the attack is simply a method of forging and intercepting that process and getting hold of legitimate login secrets, thus gaining access. So another thing to look at. The China-based hacking group is known as Smishing Triad, has waged text message-borne phishing attacks against individuals in India using the country's government-operated postal system as a lure. The threat actors are targeting iPhone users with text messages falsely claiming that a package is awaiting collection at India Post Warehouse. The deceptive message contains URLs leading to fraudulent websites. According to a new Fortinet FortiGuard Labs report, between January and July of 2024, more than 470 domain registrations were mimicking India's Post official domain, with the majority registered via Chinese and American domain registrars. They've discovered phishing emails sent via iMessage using third-party email addresses like Hotmail, Gmail, and Yahoo. Apple ID account configured with these third-party emails send the malicious messages, getting a short URL that directs the recipients to fraudulent websites. India Post is just the latest of the China cyber attack on India. Again, the two nations continue to challenge each other economically and militarily, and so those attacks continue. Final story of the day: France, hosting the Olympics, launches a large-scale operation to fight cyber spying ahead of the Olympics. Obviously, we've seen a whole bunch of threats happen in France with their high rail system being manipulated on Friday before opening ceremony to essentially cut off access to the city. That had trains canceling and delaying departure by 3 to 5 hours. So people that were staying outside of Paris couldn't make it into the city for the opening ceremony. All in all, French authorities have launched a major operation to clean the country's computer systems of malware believed to have affected several thousand users, particularly of espionage purposes. Obviously, with the Olympics come a whole bunch of foreign press and foreign nation delegations, and you can't underestimate spies or actors being part of those delegations. So France, for their end, are trying to do that part. Hopefully the games go off without a hitch. Obviously, the Olympics are a great unifier of the globe, and so we hope that's the case there. That's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, live right here with all the latest and greatest. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, share, like, comment. Go check out our friends at Nutch Security, and most importantly, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.